Good morning, Chavra. Today is the 10th of Sivan. It's a beautiful Friday morning. And we're learning Perek Gimel, Chapter 3 of Shar HaYichud V'Emunah on page 100 in this week's Chayenu. Excuse me. The overview of Chapter 3. Having established earlier that creation is continuous by virtue of the divine utterances, Hashem spoke, the world was brought into existence. Hashem has to constantly keep the world propped up. It becomes ultimately clear that the only true existence is the godly life force. But without Hashem sustaining us, there's nothing. We would simply not exist. The Alter Rebbe explained that the activating force of the Creator must constantly be vested within creation. Hashem is constantly sustaining the world. And where does he get that? We talk about the forces which consist of the letters which emanate from the 5 supernal organs of verbal articulation. And now, after these words were spoken, call maskil al davar yavin. Lashuroi eich shekol nivra v'yesh ube'emes nechshav la'ayin v'efes mamish. We're going to start to understand and explain how every single thing that came into existence came from absolutely nothing. Yesterday we started with when a silversmith creates a beautiful goblet, he's taking one item and he's transforming it into another. There's nothing and no one. There's that famous joke with these atheists that they're going to challenge God. And they're going to say, oh, we can create what you created. You know, you made man, we're going to take clay, we're going to make a man. So they start making with the clay. God goes, wait a second, get your own clay. Taking my clay. So everything comes from something else. But with Hashem, everything comes from nothing. Hashem creates everything from the breath of his mouth, so to speak, which is within it, and continuously brings it into existence from nothingness. So since this function has to be continuous, it follows that the creature's activating force is the true reality of its existence. If it's constantly being sustained, then that which is sustaining it, if it stops for a moment, the thing is going to fail. It's going to fail to exist. So the true existence is that which brings it into existence and continues to keep it existing, to keep it, to uphold it. The reason that all things created and activated appear to us as existing, meaning self-sustaining. We fail to see the divine activating force, which is the true reality of any created beings. We don't see that God is constantly giving sustenance, vitality, energy to a simple stone or a rock. Right, Larry? Why? We don't see with our physical eyes the power of Hashem and the things that he created. But if we were given the ability and permission to see and comprehend, the life force and spirituality that's giving it the energy within every single thing, that comes from the mouth of Hashem, his breath, so to speak. As we said yesterday, it's anthropomorphically speaking, because God doesn't have a mouth, God doesn't speak, but this is how the Torah describes it. If Hashem would give us the ability to see the energy that he gives to sustain everything, then we wouldn't have the material world. There wouldn't be physicality, materiality, and tangibility of the creatures. Why? For it, the physicality is completely nullified in relation to the life force and the spirituality which is within it. Since if it didn't have the spirituality within it, it would be absolute nothingness. It would revert to exactly the same way it was before the 6 days of creation, at which time there was nothing in existence except for Hashem, of course. The spirituality that flows into it, that comes from, it says it in quotes here, from the mouth of Hashem and his breath, that alone continuously brings it forth from nothing into being. And from this spirituality gives it existence. If that's true, that they have no existence if not for the sustaining power of Hashem, then in reality, nothing else exists besides Hashem. The only true reality is God that brings everything into existence. So the created being does not constitute a true reality inasmuch as it's completely dependent on Hashem for its existence and the continuous flow of this divine life force. Indeed, its existence consists of that activating force. So the takeaway for today, Chavra, is that true existence is the energy of existence. If you are the cause, then you are real. If you're dependent, then you are transient and flimsy. What's the truth? God is real. Hashem is the source of it all. Creations and man are null and void in comparison to Hashem. Obviously, we feel real. We feel like we exist. We feel like we're alive. Hashem wants us to feel that way. Hashem, the Tanya tells us, if we were able to see it, we would think and feel and sense totally differently. But Hashem wants us to feel independent and not see him so that we can have free choice to make hopefully the right decisions and not the opposite, chas v'shalom, which means that we do everything that we possibly can to fulfill his will. And how do we do that? Again, by davening, learning Torah, doing mitzvahs, preparing for Shabbos Kodesh. Everyone have a wonderful Shabbos, and we'll see you later on this evening in Mirz Hashem.